welcome back to my homeschooling series. This is my second video about homeschooling, and I was going to start right in with kindergarten. I got so many questions about cyber school, and then I thought, you know what? I really didn't address cyber school in my last video because you know why? I take it for granted that you know that about me, and you don't know that about me. People who know me know that I don't do cyber school. I have done it, so I have a lot to say about it, but I now don't use cyber school. I thought it was like funny because I'm like, I didn't even say that, and so you guys don't even know, so I will answer the questions with the same statements I made on my first video that is already been up there somewhere. Watch my first one about why I decided to homeschool my children, and then watch this one and I will answer the questions about whether you should use cyber school or not, or how you make that decision, I should say. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what child needs what. I had one child graduate through cyber school. She did the K-12 program. She was the first graduating class, which was very cool. Every child, just realize every child will need something different. I did try it again after her, didn't like it, and then I decided to do my own program. That's what I did. So I will tell you why I made that choice. I wasn't against it if they would have said they wanted to do it, and that's another huge thing. I listen to my children. You have to listen to your children. When they say they like one way or another way, you have to listen to them. You are not going to get the work out of them if it's all about you. It can't be all about you. It has to be about them too. And that was another huge lesson I learned. I have 6 of them. I had a child who read at 4, who I bought the entire phonics program for. And then the first day of kindergarten, he was like, I already know how to read all this. I'm like, oh crap, what am I gonna do all year? I did not teach him how to read. He read on his own. And you hear about kids like that. I was blown away by it. I was like, wow, how did you learn how to read? Then I had a child who didn't really read till he was almost 10. That is my range. You cannot put your children in a box and say, you have to be reading this many words in 1st grade, this many words in 2nd grade. You need to be reading novels by 4th grade. You can't say that. And that was really hard for me. I like to have a very structured program, but I had to loosen it up and I had to figure it out. And I lost sleep, precious sleep, that I'm going to help you with. That is my goal. My goal is to help you make the decisions that took me a long time to make. Let's begin. I'm going to do the exact same 5 reasons as to why I homeschooled, and then I'm going to answer those reasons, whether cyber school, whether I liked cyber school, whether it worked for me. I'll tell you the story. So let's just begin. Number 1, I told you I loved spending time with my children. That was my number 1 reason for homeschooling. Will cyber school accomplish that? Yes. So there's a reason that cyber school works too. You will spend time with your children. They are going to be with you. You will still be with them. It works that way. I'm trying to think of like how else I can say that. That's how cyber school works. You will be in your home. Most of you are doing cyber school right now. I mean, that's what you're doing. The teacher's on the computer. They're giving them their lessons. I'm not going to, say whether I think one type is better than the other. Cyber school, yes, you will see your children as you are seeing right now. You are seeing your children. So that's how it works. Number 2, I don't follow rules well. Watch the first video. I go into my not following rules well. Well, that just doesn't work for cyber school. I might as well send them to school. Cyber school has so many rules and so much as a parent that you have to be in charge of. If you are not, you get in a lot of trouble. I got in a lot of trouble. I remember like going to sleep because you have to take their attendance, you got to do hours, and every one of them is different but the same, and you are still in charge. And I would go to sleep. It would have to be in at midnight. I'd like sit up at 11:30 and be like, oh my God, I didn't put their hours in. Oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble. And be sitting there loading up my computer at 11:30 at night, trying to get my hours in. Not fun for me, not fun. That was not a bonus for me. That was like, no, I still don't like to follow rules. I'm still following rules. I'm exchanging one form of school for another. No, thank you. Number 3, I love learning with them. Well, you can learn, as you guys are seeing, okay? You can learn. My hair, I just washed my hair, so it's like wet. You can learn with them with cyber school. it's a little bit different because you aren't in charge. And there's where my problem is. I'm still sending them to school with somebody else in charge of their lesson plan. And I know you're saying, Michelle, how do you know what lesson plan? You did not go to years of college to learn how to make up a lesson plan. Nope, I didn't. That's truth. I didn't. I knew what I wanted them to learn. And you could say that's just ridiculous. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's stubborn. Who knows? I just knew that I like to be the one in charge of what they were learning. In cyber school, you are not in charge. Now, for some people, that's like a bonus because you're like, oh, thank God I don't have to do a lesson plan. Like, thank you. For me, it was not. It was not a bonus. I wanted to be in charge of the lessons. I wanted to know what they were doing. I wanted to plan it out. And cyber school, no planning. It's there. You just have to get them to do it, which is fun. Picture it like you're sending your kids to school. They bring home homework and you're like begging them to do their homework. Do your homework. Do your homework. They don't do it, or they lie and said they did it, and then they go back to school and they get a bad grade for it. Well, the school doesn't call you up. Sometimes they do. On a normal day, they're not going to call you up, okay? Unless it becomes repetitive behavior. I've had those children. For one day, they're not going to call you up and say, Mrs. So-and-so, you did not get your son to finish his homework today. You're not going to get that phone call. But in cyber school, if they don't finish their homework, guess who's in trouble? Not them. You are in trouble. I don't like being in trouble. I was in enough trouble. I did not like that. Now, my daughter that graduated through cyber school, she did it in high school. I don't know if I said that too. She did it in high school and she was in charge of it, and she really did take charge. I did very little because she was older. She knew what she wanted. So it kind of went like that. But when we're talking the little kids, and if you have a kid that's rebellious against it, she wasn't. She did it. And that's why I didn't have a problem with her doing it. She was not rebellious. She wanted to graduate. She made friends. That's what she wanted, and she knew it. I'm just telling you, you get in trouble. I don't like to get in trouble. I get in enough trouble. I got in enough trouble. Number 4, days were flexible. Guess what? Cyber school, days are not flexible. They will tell you what hours. They have set hours for classes. Everything is on a schedule. You want to go to a doctor appointment? You got to get permission. What did I tell you? I don't want to get permission. That's not me. I don't want to get permission. Yes, it is almost as much as sending your kids to school, except for you get in trouble. Now you're in trouble and you have to help them make up the class, or however each individual cyber school handles it. Days are not flexible. Number 5, no such thing as Mondays. Not true. Mondays exist. And I don't like that. And that is why after my daughter graduated from cyber school, I really backed away from it. My 3 younger children, I did my own homeschooling. I came up with a program because I knew what I wanted. I knew that if I was going to survive homeschooling these last 3 children, that I was going to have to take control of it. And I wanted it. I wanted control. I wanted to come up with the lessons. I knew what I wanted to teach them. I'd already had children graduate. I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I wanted my life to look like. And it wasn't about going around somebody else's schedule. It wasn't about doing what somebody else told me to do. It was about me figuring out what I wanted to do. And I stayed up a lot of nights figuring out this program, a lot, but I got it down. I got it down to the point that I really loved what I did. I enjoyed it, and the more I enjoyed it, the more they enjoyed it, and the more input I would take from them. Some things I wasn't so flexible on. A lot of books I was like, sorry, you're going to read this book. But then a lot of books, they would compromise. They would say, well, I don't want to read this book, but how about this book? Well, I will get into that when I do these series of grades with homeschooling. I will give you suggestions on books. I will, for boys, for girls, and yes, they are different a lot of times, not every time, a lot of times they're different. You got to keep them as involved as you are. And then it's a relationship. And that's what I got to have with the last 3. Their schooling was a relationship. The first 2 did go to high school. One went to public high school, one went to private high school. And they graduated with their high school. My last son, he's all the way through. A lot of times I hand him a book and he's like, and I'm like, sorry. But then a lot of times he's like, well, can I substitute this book for this book? Sure. I teach books. Full disclosure, when I go through these grades, you are going to see that I use books for almost every subject, except for math. I do not use a lot of books for math. I have a program. I will share with you that program. Every other subject, I use books because I believe, and I've seen it work, that you can teach everything through literature. I'm a firm believer. I think there's time for fun books, but who's to say that these literature books were? My kids come back to me now, the adult ones, and they're like, you know what? Some of my favorite books were classics. They are timeless, and they taught so much about history and science and art and music, and I am very passionate about what I did and finishing up doing. I saw it work. I saw them be just as excited as me. You don't get that in school very often, and I'm not saying every kid. Like I said, my daughter wanted to go to school. My son wanted to go to school. I didn't stop them. We decided together, and then it's a together decision. And then when I put them in school, they were such great students. I didn't have to say, "Did you do your homework?" I wasn't a part of it at all because they knew what they wanted. It wasn't forced. They knew they could come home. That's another biggie. It wasn't like, "Okay, you're going to go to school, so you're done." No, I was like, "Go to school. Go to school for 10th grade. If you don't like it, come home." They were in charge of it, and they took charge of it. So I am very, very passionate about having that relationship with your children. And I will get into that, and so I don't want to keep going on and on and on about it, but those are the reasons as to why I did use cyber school for my one daughter, and then why I decided against it for the rest of them. Have any more questions? Below. I don't want to get into programs because it doesn't matter. They're all the same. They really are. You're going to like some of the programs better. Some of them are cheaper, for one. Some of them are free. Some of them are cheaper. Some go into different, religions. And so you might like one over the other. But for the most part, they are the same. And so far as how you school your children, they are the same. So, but I will take any questions you have about any of these decisions that I made and about any other videos, because I wasn't even going to do this video until you guys, I had like 5 people say, "What about cyber school?" And I'm like, wow, I didn't even answer that question. So thank you. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. I can't wait to start making these videos. I've got them all spread out. It's given me this mission for the end of, well, I'm here in Pennsylvania. I'm stuck in here until the end of May. That is my life. It's May 2nd, and I'm like, okay, so let's do this. Let's do this in May, and then hopefully in June I'll be back to work and everything will semi go back to normal. Who knows? But thank you for watching. If you like this, if you have any questions, hit the like button, ask me anything on the comments, and thank you for watching, everyone.